We need to love our African brothers in America when they are being slaughtered, in London when they are being slaughtered. They need to know that we love them here in South Africa. They remain our brothers. Love each other everywhere else where you find one another. Protect each other, Africans, because we are in the receiving end of capitalism. Capitalism inherently, it is racist. That's why it's targeting blacks everywhere else where blacks are found. So we need to do away with that. We need to and Commonwealth is actually one of the institutions that perpetuate African divisions. We need to strengthen African Union. We need to strengthen African Parliament. We need to strengthen African judicial system. We need to trial tyrants here in Africa. We need to trial and...
What's up, good people? What's up, black people? I hope you're happy wherever you are and you're doing fine with your life. And yeah, and so I want us to talk about something. And what is our problem as black people? I often love to say the biggest privilege white people have is not institutional access. It's not being able to be accepted, to be loved, to be treated like a king, to be treated like a rock star whenever they are entering those institutions. No, it's not institutional advantage or institutional access. Is not having to always carry in their minds, in their consciousness, their whiteness. And do not get me wrong, white people know that they are white and they know that that is their identity. But unlike us black people, you don't have to carry the baggage around of always having to know, to tell yourself that I am black and this means a lot, and this means somehow some sort of limitations here and there. And we spend all our time, all our energy talking about this blackness. I am this black and you're that black. Who is black than who? Who is American? Who is African American? Who is continental African? Who is European African? Who is Kenyan? Who is Nigerian? Who is South African? Borders that we ourselves did not even draw. And we spend all the time, all the energy, all our efforts, and even time resource on such word games and such identity politics that we forget the most important stuff. And you black people need to realize that what we need the most is to build a community, an empowered community of black people, materially empowered. Because when we have material wealth, when we have power, and this is something that the white man, this is a concept the white man really understands. When you control money, you control power, and your life is going to be easier because you have the means. That's why sometimes I have a problem with the teachings of religious teachings that try to tell black people not to look for, not to accrue material wealth, and that their wealth is somewhere in heaven, in wherever they tell them. We need wealth here because those that brought the so-called the religion, the gospel here, are busy fighting, accruing wealth for their families, for their generational wealth, to control this world, to get the world to move in a direction that favors them, while they come here and bring the gospel but tell us that the gospel says we do not need these worldly wealth, but it is the one that they're killing us over, they're fighting to death over, you know. So we need to wake up. We need to stop these politics of course we have stories, of course our blackness is our identity, it is our pride, but we won't spend all our lives playing such politics of who is blacker than who, of useless nationalism that is not helping, is in fact uh, dividing us and disenfranchising us. The moment we start realizing that what we need to start doing as black people is accrue wealth, first of all, and again, unity of purpose, and again, to discover who the enemy is and start talking about imperialism, start talking about disenfranchisement, start talking about the legacy of colonialism, start talking about the legacy of slavery to our brothers and sisters outside of the continent of Africa, start talking about economical empowerment. That is when we will be fighting the right war that we deserve to be fighting. The moment we start talking about unity of black people, supporting each other, respecting each other, taking in each other, then that is when we will be playing a game that we deserve to play.
Stop name calling one another. Stop cursing one another. Stop gossiping about one another. Stop squabbling with one another. Stop being discourteous and disrespectful to one another. Stop fighting one another. Stop killing one another. Stop using and selling drugs to one another. Stop throwing down trash where black people have to live, work, and play. Did I say stop stealing, stop robbing? Now, as I said, the pressure of the white supremacy dynamic that forces black people to think negatively about themselves and set up negative environmental conditions will produce these negative behaviors. You see, but that's just like somebody putting you in check from the other side of the board. So you have to learn the tactics and strategies, the behavioral tactics and strategies, do you see, that will stop that from happening. So you're constantly on the offensive and the defense about preserving or evolving and developing a very positive image and concept of self.
All these other games we're playing here and there are so unnecessary. Of course, we have stories, we have different experiences. I won't deny that. And those experiences shouldn't be a point of our differences, should be a point in which we come together to complement each other, uh, bring in the little we can gather from all over because we are everywhere, and forge our blackness forward. So it's time to start playing the real deal, the real game. It's time to quit playing the small games. Peace out, black people.